Hey guys, I'm here to share a little bit about myself. So I realize I teach a lot, but I have not really let you into my world here on YouTube. So I wanted to make sure that I took a moment and just let you know a little bit about who I am and why purpose is so important to me because you will hear me talk about it all the time. You got that? Like all the time. It's going to always be at the forefront of every conversation that I have with you. And so it's only right that I tell you why it's so important to me. So, um, I grew up in a family that was big on making sure that you did well in school in regards to K through 12, but not really pushing college or any furthering of your education. Also, not really big on pushing a particular career field. It was really just do what you can to get by. And so, in high school, freshman year in high school, at the age of 14, I actually had my first daughter. And I became a teen mom at a really young age. And just kind of going off of what I had been taught, I got a job and I began to go to school and go to work to make sure that I was providing for my daughter. My parents allowed us to stay with them because I was still a minor myself, but they wanted me to be financially responsible for her. And so that kind of really played a lot into how I developed throughout the rest of high school and my young adult years. And I was really around focusing on financial provision and just making sure that I was doing a good job with what I had and being financially responsible for my daughter. Then at the age of 19, I got pregnant again and I had my second child. And up until that point, I had not gotten on any public assistance, but I was really working kind of basic jobs, doing waitressing here and there, and just trying to make sure that I was making ends meet. So after I had my second daughter, I realized that I didn't want to work basic jobs anymore, that I wanted to have a career that would provide for my kids. And that became really important for me. So I did finish high school. I graduated high school on time, but I did decide to enroll in college and pursue a career in healthcare. And that worked for me. But I would say probably a couple of years into my career in healthcare, I realized that there was something more missing. And it was interesting because I was doing all right. You know, most people were like, wow, you were a teen mom. You have your own place, you got a car, you work in a decent job, you're taking care of your kids. According to a lot of people that I was around at the time, the environment that I was in, they're like, you doing good. Like, what are you tripping off of? What do you have to worry about? But something in me just kept saying that that wasn't it. That wasn't enough. And I did not have a personal relationship with Christ at the time. I knew church, had been brought up in church, but church wasn't in me. I didn't have a personal relationship. And so I just, again, like I said, felt like something was missing. Doing good, bringing home the bacon at the time, single mom, raising my two kids, having fun, was able to party when I wanted to, do what I wanted to, travel. But I just still felt empty. And so I actually ended up going to church. Long story. I'm not going to share that with you here. That'll be another YouTube video. But after I started going to church, I really found that the Lord was pulling on my heart. And I'm like, I need to get back in church. He's calling me. He's calling me back and to give my life to him. And so I did that. That was about 2007, 2008. And so for several years, I started going to church. I started serving. I was learning. But I wasn't just learning about the word. I was learning about myself, who I was in Christ, what my new identity was, what it meant to be saved, what it meant to be called, understanding that he knew me before I was formed in my mother's womb, that he had predestined me to be called back to him. And the more and more I began to learn about that and understand the word from that perspective, the more and more I began to have a clear understanding of purpose, right? And that's when the wheels began to turn for me, and that it's cool to have a career. It's cool to be able to provide. but what were you actually created and called to do? And so that was what really sparked my journey. First and foremost was my personal relationship with Christ. And then fast forward a few years, I had the great opportunity of meeting my husband. Hey, babe, if you're watching this. And together we ended up starting a church. He was feeling called to pastor, and I've just decided to walk that journey with him. And as I seen him really step into his call as well, it reignited this thing in me. I already knew I had wanted to start connecting with women, building relationships from that perspective, but really being with him on the journey of launching the church, and watching him step into his call took my desire to really know and lead more in purpose. Because again, it was another real life example of doing what you were called to do and not just what's comfortable or not just what society says you should pursue from a financial perspective. And so I ended up having a women's event, and the theme for the night was Pretty in Purpose. And I talked about purpose and shared about Joseph, the study of Joseph, in a ratchet way, because y'all know I got to keep it real. That's just what I do. And so it really went over well. And that lit something in me that I have been carrying forth ever since. And it has been, one, understanding my personal purpose, but to help other people get clarity around their purpose as well. And understanding that it is not just about financial gain. It's not just about finding temporary happiness. That's not what it's about. It's not just about using your talents, to fulfill your own personal needs, but it is literally about knowing who you were created to be and what you've been called to do on a day-to-day basis, 24/7, 365. Your purpose cannot be turned off because it's not something that you do. It's who you are. It is innate in you. It brings you excitement. It wakes you up in the morning. You never want to stop working it. You never want to stop pursuing it, because when you are walking in purpose, you know that you are not only pleasing God by operating in your call and fulfilling the path that He has predestined for you, but you also begin to see how being obedient in that call impacts other people, how it changes other people's lives. And that is a reward that cannot be bought. There's no dollar amount associated with that. And so when you begin to understand your purpose and walk in that, it's a beautiful thing, because it helps you become confident in who you are and who Christ has created you to be. And then obviously there are times where your purpose will open up avenues for you to make profit, and there's nothing wrong with that. There are those opportunities. And so if you have a profitable business that is directly associated with your purpose, you want to know what that looks like as well, because it is still about kingdom business. So you want to make sure that the business that you're operating, if it's associated with your purpose, is done with integrity and in excellence, and that you are not ever having to work in a space that causes you to compromise who you were called and created to be. And so that, for me, as I'm walking in my purpose, which is helping other people discover and get clarity around theirs, is something that I just love. I love it. So you're going to hear me talk about it all the time. It's freeing. I believe you find freedom in knowing what your purpose is, because you really find out who you are. And you don't have those questions about what am I supposed to be doing? What is my life going to look like in 5 or 10 years? Because you understand that although your environment may change, that some of your circumstances may change, your purpose never changes, because it is who you are. And so there is just something about that lights me up. It gets me excited. I could talk about it all day long. If I'm doing one-on-one sessions, if I'm coaching, if I'm working with people, I get so excited to have that conversation with them and help them find clarity, because I can literally see them gaining freedom and finding out who they are and what they were called to do and the impact that they were called to make. And it's something that I just love it, y'all. I love it. And it's why it's important to me, is because it set me free. And if I never discovered my purpose, I would have been bound to the ideology that I needed to pursue and chase a career to find freedom, that I needed to chase money in order to find freedom, that I needed to show my daughters how to dress right or look cute in order to find freedom. And realistically, although those things are great, they are not tied to finding freedom. Your purpose is. And since I have been able to discover my purpose, I have found a sense of peace that I've never had before. And I also find a sense of excitement in knowing that now I can truly model purpose to my girls. I don't have to just talk to them about, not doing the things that I did or trying to be me and wanting them to follow in my footsteps. I can talk to them about being who God has created them to be as well, if they desire to have the joy and the peace and the freedom that I have in my life. And so that's my story. I'm sticking to it. It's a lot that I had to kind of skip over. We have them conversations at other times. Okay. Follow my podcast if you really want to know, because I'll really get juicy in my podcast. Okay. I have 2 seasons with a ton of episodes that you can go back and watch, or you can follow me on social media. I'm always in my Instagram stories doing a fool. I let y'all into my life sometimes to kind of see behind the scenes what be going on. So you can follow me on there if you want to know more. But I wanted to just share that personal story with you here on this platform, because I don't do that often. And I think it's important for you all to know who I am and why I talk so much about purpose, why it is the highlight of everything that I teach and everything that I strive to present to you all. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you also hit the subscribe button so you can get alerts on any other videos that are released. If there was something that I said that resonated with you, be it about me being a teen mom, be it about my family only knowing to kind of just get by with school and do what you can, be it chasing money and not understanding purpose, anything I said that may have resonated with you, comment down below. I read the comments. I will respond to you. We're going to connect, but I want to hear if there's something that I said that may have touched your heart, because what comes from the heart reaches the heart, right? And so I also hope that as purpose continues to burn within me and keeps my heart pumping and alive, that it also brings yours alive as we continue this journey together. All right. But that's it for tonight. I'll be back to you all with another video that ain't personal, but it's about how you can do life better and apply some strategy to your life so that you can pursue your own personal purpose journey. All right. I love you guys. I'm out of here. Take care. Peace.